Q30 long-term test review, a justified price hike? As my time in the Infiniti Q30 nears a close, I've become disillusioned with it. It's tech-heavy, we've established that in previous reports, but at well over £30,000, it should have all the bells and whistles included. I recently noticed the price of the car we're testing has risen by £850 to £34,350 in the 6 months since it joined our fleet. Infiniti UK tells us that the markup is connected with tax and increases in the costs of options and the vehicle itself. Either way, for that price I'd expect more. For instance, I'd like a wider range of adjustment in the driver's seat. Being long of body, I have to slouch to avoid brushing my hair on the roof. It's a surprise, too, that there's no Apple CarPlay and Android Auto yet. They'll likely come on the facelifted version in 2019. A powered tailgate, although not common on hatches, would be nice, given the raised ride. Lower-spec Toyotas get inductive smartphone charging but the Infiniti doesn't. The Vauxhall Astra even gets Wi-Fi and a Lexus CT200 has a push-button start and privacy glass as standard. Does the Q30? Does it heck? Despite the Q30 being one of the safest cars on the road according to your own CAF's ratings, an equivalent to Vauxhall's OnStar crash and breakdown response system wouldn't go amiss. Instead, there's an infotainment system described by a colleague as a bit Windows 98. Perhaps that I'm pampered, but if your hatchback costs a grand short of an entry-level BMW 5 Series, there's a level of equipment you expect. Despite the Q30's decent refinement and other charms, in terms of kit I've found little that's above average in terms of convenience that isn't an optional extra. That's a bit upsetting. Infiniti Q30 2.2D DCT Premium Tech and Touch. Price £31,700, price as tested £34,350, economy 38.2 miles per gallon, faults none, expenses none, mileage 8,103. Previous reports. In a cabin filled with Alcantara, wood and leather, the Infiniti Q30's cheap-looking plastic B-pillar trim sticks out, especially when the seatbelt buckle clashes against it as you turn to leave. Perhaps that's why sales are slow. No matter how refined it is during a test drive, the last few seconds, the bit you'll remember, might be the worst part of your trip. Previous reports. The Q30 is loaded with technology. When parking, there are all-round sensors, a reversing camera and a surround view monitor to make it pretty easy to slip into a tight spot in a multi-story. It's just as well, because the car's intelligent park assist can be a liability. In the right circumstances, when parallel parking, it's a dream. You spot a space, indicate and the system takes over. All you have to do is brake when necessary and make sure you don't run anyone over. But the system struggles with bay parking. Attempt to park in a bay on your right and 5 times out of 10 it works a treat. The other times, you drift past the space in the hope the car will spot it and the little arrow prompt will appear, only for it never to show. Mildly embarrassed, you then find another space, and, after another missed opportunity by the parking system, park in it yourself. Bay parking on the left? The success rate drops to around 1 in 10. Here's what can happen. After selecting a perfect spot in the middle of 3 empty bays, the system offers its assistance. The notifications appear, the process begins, and the steering wheel spins away, until you realize that you're perpendicular to the other cars. The system has parallel parked you across 3 spaces, and you're left looking a little silly and a whole lot less dignified than you should do in a £33,500 car. JB. Test data. Price £31,700, price as tested £33,500, economy 43.4 miles per gallon, faults none, expenses replacement front tire and fitting £166.99, mileage 6,478. Previous reports. Our posh Nissan has been in the wars. A fat screw embedded itself in the offside front tire, necessitating a trip to Quick Fit for a replacement. We were in and out in an hour, although if we'd specified 19 in wheels on our car instead of 18s, we would have had to wait a couple of days for a larger tire to be delivered. Thank heavens we rate practicality and ride quality over style, eh? MB. Test data. Price £31,700. Price as tested £33,500. Economy 43.4 miles per gallon. Faults none. Expenses replacement front tire and fitting £166.99. Mileage 5,369. Previous reports. A hapless motorist has scraped the Infiniti. The Q30 has mild hints of ruggedness to it, including some plastic wheel arch surrounds. Usefully, one of these bore the brunt of the damage. With a bit of elbow grease I buffed off the worst of the grays as you can see above, somewhat reducing my frustration at the unknown assailant. MB. Test data. Price £31,700. Price as tested £33,500. Economy 43.4 miles per gallon. Faults none. Expenses replacement front tire and fitting £166.99. Mileage 5,988. Previous reports. Should you be considering an Infiniti, I'd recommend asking your dealer to lend you a test car for a few days rather than just going for a short drive around the block. I was recently immersed in our Q30 for a solid fortnight, during which time my views on the car flip-flopped between underwhelmed, downright baffled and occasionally quite impressed. My first impressions were not positive. Granted, I jumped straight out of a silken Jaguar XF V6 diesel worth twice the price, but the Q30 felt disappointingly unrefined for a car with pretensions of fighting the Audi A3. Upon startup and under acceleration, the 2.2-liter diesel engine chattered away brashly. And the car's ride felt about as uncharitable as a U.S. border guard. I was also surprised by how much of the Mercedes-Benz A-Class, upon which the Q30 is based, is still evident in the cabin. I'd assumed Infiniti would go to greater lengths to disguise it, but there's no mistaking those origins, not least the instrument screen graphics and much of the switchgear. Heck, even the locking wheel nut bears a three-pointed star. It's all distinctly Germanic in its origin and quality, so that, at least, is a positive attribute, but the overall impression is one of a lack of a cohesive look and feel. The identity crisis is a shame, because I admire the Q30's bold exterior looks. As those initial niggles ebbed away, what became clear is that the Q30 is a thoroughly solid car. Late one night, I forewent my dull M3 motorway commute home and chose instead to take some flowing country roads and even found myself enjoying what is undoubtedly a keen-handling chassis. Infiniti's challenge is to convince car shoppers, short on time and perhaps patience, to give it a chance. That's an uphill job, but I won't be sniffy about nabbing our Q30 in the future, even if the car's stubby black key looks identical to a Merc one. Test data. Price £31,700. Price as tested £33,500. Economy 43.4 miles per gallon. Faults none. Expenses replacement front tire and fitting £160.99. I've been a fan of the Q30's styling since I first saw it, but during a recent visit to a Mazda dealership, I realized why. It has an apparent twin in the shape of the Mazda 3. The similarities have already been noted in passing but were emphasized by the two cars wearing identical paint schemes. What my photo doesn't show is that the rear of the Q30 has a more muscular look than the 3. Mileage 2,780. Previous stories. It has been easy to appreciate the Infiniti Q30's strengths during its first month with us. Cruising along the M3 motorway once a week is a treat. The calm ride comfort at speed, a lovely lump of overtaking power and the quietness of the cabin team up to create one of the most relaxing automotive spaces I've experienced. Couple these with a high-quality sound system and adaptive cruise control and the Q30 transforms the usual 80-minute slog into one of the most chilled-out periods in my life, and I look forward to the journey throughout the week. The only thing that could make the experience even more pleasant would be massaging seats, although that's quite a rare option at this price level. An early opportunity to find out how well the Q30 could multitask arose when I was asked to pick up some bulky furniture for a family member living 2.5 hours away. 5 dining chairs and the extension leaf for an oak table fitted comfortably into the back of the Q30 with the rear seats folded, even if the already slim rear screen was almost completely blocked. The bulkier parts of the table had to be squeezed into a small van, but the Q30 showed that its load-carrying ability shouldn't be underestimated. The steeply rigged rear screen did cause some concern about it being broken by an errant chair leg. Smooth driving and seat tilting the load alleviated this, and I was also mindful of the possibility of the wood damaging the well-appointed cabin. However, both car and load arrived without damage, in good time. I'm starting to expect nothing less from the Q30. That's 2 ticks on a list of requirements for the Q30, then. Boot space is an easy win for a manufacturer, but comfort is more challenging. Looks like I'll have to delve even deeper to find the source of the Q30's scarcity on UK roads. Infiniti Q30 2.2D Premium Tech and Touch DCT. Priced £31,700. Price as tested £33,500. Economy 47.0 miles per gallon. Faults none. Expenses none. Previous reports. It's hard to miss the Infiniti Q30 waiting for me at the start of its 6-month residency at Autocar. The moonlight white, slightly raised premium hatchback certainly stands out from its rivals as a bit of a look car, a mass of creases and flame surfacing in a multi-story car park full of Germanic conservatism. We gave the Q30 a promising but not class-leading 3.5 stars when we road tested it earlier this year. Not bad for a company with Infiniti's diminutive stature in the UK. But in the marque's ambition to boost its size from the 2,813 sales that its entire range had accrued in 2016 by the end of November, the Q30 will be a key player. In the same period, Audi racked up more than 14 times this number of sales just with the A3, the UK's best-selling premium hatch of this size. So I have the not insignificant task of figuring out if the Q30 deserves the same, or at least a healthier chunk, of this market. The on-the-road price of our car is £33,500. Gulp. That's less than £1,000 shy of an automatic Audi S3 Sportback, one reason why the Q30 isn't outselling the A3. In premium tech and touch spec, the highest spec Q30 there is, it has the goods to go with the looks, though. Starting at the front, it's fit